Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I have no idea what to call this video. What words can I choose that will express just how significant this is? This is some of the biggest news of the day, and I don't know what words to put down as the video title that can express what this means, and that will also be attention-grabbing enough to those scrolling through on their phones. This is a big deal. Do you know what this is? Look at this headline, and you might not know what it is just by reading it, but I'm going to tell you. This piece from A&B Crypto. South Africa's Zago, and I don't know how to say this, it's X-A-G-O, so I'm just going to say it's Zago, and if somebody's got a proper pronunciation, if I'm wrong, just let me know. South Africa's Zago launches XRP exclusive gateway exchange in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're talking about market making here. XRP market making, on-demand liquidity, XRAPID, oh yes. And I don't know that most people are even going to realize that just from reading the headline, but I'm going to get into the specifics. I've also got a couple other pieces I'm going to cover in this video. Here's another one from A&B Crypto titled, Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse reiterates pro-regulation credentials. And the last thing I'm going to cover, not XRP specific, so saving it for the end here, UNICEF launches cryptocurrency fund to back open source technology. Just a piece I happen to find interesting that's in the news today. So, before we get rocking and rolling here, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you love your mama, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because you know she would tell you it's the right thing to do. So let's jump into this piece here. With an intent to generate liquidity for XRP in South Africa, the Cape Town-based fintech company Zago has revealed the launch of a custom-built exchange and Ripple gateway in the country. The exchange exclusively enables trading, sending and receiving of XRP, while employing RippleNet to do the same. And I got to point this out. Look, as it pertains to price of XRP and liquidity, if you want to facilitate transactions using XRAPID, and I know we're switching to the Ripple's new terminology, is call it on-demand liquidity. I'm going to kind of use both because I don't know that everybody's aware of that yet, but Ripple is rebranding to just calling it on-demand liquidity. They're throwing out the name XRAPID. It's not even, I don't even know if it's on the website anymore. I think it's been completely removed. But as it pertains to price versus liquidity, I'm not sure how many of you realize this, but liquidity is actually more important than price. Now, maybe not to you and I because we're XRP holders. We just want a really high XRP price. Okay, but in terms of actually moving money around the planet, the liquidity is actually substantially more important. And I can explain why. There are a couple of ways. First of all, in order to conduct transactions, you have to look at how the technology functionally works. So we're talking about, if you're moving money from the U.S. to Mexico, you use XRAP-powered exchanges. So in the United States, there's Bittrex. So then you buy XRP on, this is all automatic, of course, but you buy XRP on Bittrex with the United States dollars, transfer that to Bitso in Mexico. That's an XRAPID-enabled exchange there, and then that gets converted into pesos on the other end. And so you have to have pools of liquidity on each end. What are the pools of liquidity? The exchanges, right? Bittrex is a pool of liquidity because there's all sorts of XRP being bought and sold. Same for Bitso on the Mexico side. That's a pool of liquidity. And so you need those, but here's the thing, and if you want to convert into different currencies all over the world, you need to have pools of liquidity the world over in like pretty much every different country. And so that's what we're talking about when laying the tracks. Without that, you can't do it. Also, so yes, price matters. The greater the price of XRP, of course, that helps conduct more transactions. If there were demand on, RippleNet specifically, XRAPID-enabled Ripple, the XRAPID-enabled portion of RippleNet. But consider this: if you want to understand fundamentally why liquidity is more important than price, imagine a world. I'm just going to make this up. Let's just say XRP were worth $1,000, just conceptually, so you can understand. So let's say XRP is worth $1,000. But here's the thing, nobody's buying or selling it, which means it's not on any exchanges, which means it's illiquid at that point, right? It's at $1,000 because that was the last market rate price, but nobody's buying or selling it. That means you can't use it as a bridge currency, in a hypothetical world where it's not going to happen. But you know what I'm saying. If it were to happen, it doesn't matter that the last sale price was $1,000, there's no liquidity to move it. On the flip side, if you had a price of XRP that's 5 cents, just again for conceptual purposes, if XRP were worth 5 cents, but it's on every exchange the world over, well, that's a whole lot more liquidity, right? And so you can see why it's best to have an appropriate blend of price and liquidity to sufficiently handle transactions. And so that's why, in terms of actually functionally moving around the money around the world, it would be better to just have a bunch more XRP available at a lower price. Now, I'm not saying we want a lower price, but I'm saying that would be better than having a high price but having it be illiquid, because then it functionally doesn't work. Now, I think that price and the liquidity are going to increase. Outside of parabolic runs, they're going to increase kind of in tandem over time. It's just going to take a while to get there. Anyway, according to Zygo's official press release, the company's latest move is attributed to RippleNet's quick settlement between wallets, which minimizes exposure to volatility. Crypto fanatics and businesses would be able to trade and utilize the Ripple ledger along with XRP, as the exchange would serve as a market-making platform. There you go. Market-making platform. We're talking about increasing the liquidity of XRP for the purposes of utilizing XRP as a bridge currency. And that's one of the neat things. If you're on an XRAPID-enabled exchange and you're selling your XRP, the buyer, it could be XRAPID. Like, it could be, because it's all automated, mind you. If you have the right sale price, and mind you, XRAPID is an efficient path-seeking algorithm, it could buy your XRP and then move it to another exchange and convert it into the local fiat currency. And that's the coolest thing about it. You literally be selling your XRP and just Ripple's technology automatically buys it and then sells it. It's just kind of fascinating. Anyway, once Zygo requires adequate liquidity, the exchange would go on to launch a payment switch. The switch would act as a connection to retailers through their existing hardware and software systems, eliminating the need for card networks for retailers, while RippleNet and XRP act as a medium for cross-border payments. CEO of Zygo, Jürgen Kuhnel, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, has claimed that he believes that Ripple has taken Bitcoin's role in eliminating double spending to another level. Additionally, the platform claims to offer low transaction fees and would operate on a mobile number-based identity system. The exchange's chairman and investor, Mark Chirnside, elaborated on the significance of the same and said, quote, "This is no small step on the journey of Zygo.io. With this launch and with the welcomed constructive approach we take with regulatory compliance and best practice, this platform holds the promise to reduce cost and friction at a very interesting time in the payments arena." And then the piece wraps up stating, CEO Kuhnel further suggested that the platform would continue to explore solutions that would be beneficial to consumers in low to middle income countries. That is freaking badass. So we need a ton more of this, because even as Xcurrent is, let's say, more easily implemented, and perhaps maybe it's even an easier sales pitch. I would kind of presume that without any insider knowledge, if I just had to guess. But XRAPID's more difficult, because if you don't have exchanges that can be become market makers, it just doesn't work. So that's why the tracks are still being laid, and that's why this is going to take a while, but that's fine. I'm happy to be in this early, and I hope you can appreciate that too if you're an XRP holder. You just got to be patient, and over time, I really do believe, not financial advice, but I think that the price will catch up with the value, and I think that the value of what XRP can do will steadily increase. If we keep seeing this type of adoption, why would it not? And especially given there is no other solution that humans have ever devised to solve the fractured world of cross-border payments. This is it in terms of settlement. This is it. Nobody else is even trying to do this in this way. So it's either Ripple wins or we just continue to have the SWIFT system. What do you think's going to happen? I know what I think. All right, next piece here. Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse reiterates pro-regulation credentials. Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, has been very open about cryptocurrency's growing capability to finally replace currency for good. In this regard, Garlinghouse highlighted China leading the U.S. with respect to creating an in-house cryptocurrency that is backed by the yuan. During an interview at the Economic Club of New York, Garlinghouse spoke about Ripple's technology, claiming, quote, "Ripple applies modern technologies to global financial infrastructure and cross-border payments in a way that can massively improve it for banks, and we're not changing the regulatory framework. Every transaction is still KYC and checked for AML." And then the piece continues. Garlinghouse also highlighted how the Libra white paper could have been successfully deployed had Facebook managed to gain trust over its users and government organizations. And I was talking about this yesterday. While Ripple's presence in the cross-border payments realm has led to many to consider it a bank, Garlinghouse clarifies that Ripple does not hold deposits, accounts, or wallets. He explained, quote, "In some ways we are plumbers, like we're enabling a much more efficient plumbing. You can't do an anonymous transaction on RippleNet because Every endpoint we work with is a regulated financial institution. Exactly. And then the piece wraps up stating, addressing the question of regulations, the CEO of Ripple added that there was no way for new regulations as Ripple is built on robust regulatory frameworks as today's banking system. We're pro-regulation, we're not trying to change that, Garlinghouse went on to say. This also implies that Ripple will be susceptible to the same number of risks that are faced by today's financial system. Well, yeah, that is true, and Brad Garlinghouse has acknowledged that. But he also, if you want to talk about, the degree to which Ripple transactions are successful, he said that it's close to a 0% failure rate compared to Swift's 6% failure rate today. So not even close. But yeah, if you're talking about the endpoints, that's not necessarily specifically Ripple. I mean, you're talking about the local rails. Well, it's not like they're more susceptible because they're using Ripple technology. So let's keep that in mind, because the way this piece wraps up, it might lead somebody to believe something other than that. All right, I got this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Brother, thank you for sending this on over. It's a piece titled, UNICEF launches cryptocurrency fund to back open source technology. UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, has launched a crypto fund to receive, hold, and distribute donations of Bitcoin and Ether in its aim to back open source technology for children around the world. UNICEF said in an announcement on Wednesday that in a first for United Nations organizations, the cryptocurrency fund will receive contributions in cryptocurrency and grant out in the same digital currency form. The organization added the first contributions to the UNICEF cryptocurrency fund come from the Ethereum Foundation and will benefit 3 grantees of the UNICEF Innovation Fund. It said that 3 grantees that will receive the initial donations are Press Crypto, ATIX Labs, and Utopixar, focusing on the areas of prescription tracking, matching investors, and those needing funding and community tokens and engagement. And there's a name I'm going to butcher, but so I'm not even going to try it. But that person is an executive director of the Ethereum Foundation, said on a keynote speech at the DevCon event that 100 Ether, worth about $18,000 at its current price, has been sent to the UNICEF via the new partnership. And then here's a quote, "This is a new and exciting venture for UNICEF," said UNICEF Executive Director Henrietta Fore. "If digital economies and currencies have the potential to shape the lives of coming generations, it is important that we explore the opportunities they offer." And so I like this piece because, it has to do with more general adoption and acceptance of the cryptocurrencies as an asset class. I want more of this, and that's why for me it's just another reason that I will never be a maximalist of any coin. I'm not an XRP maximalist. Yes, I want XRP to do well, but I want other projects to find success as well, because I think that that'll do well for everyone. I think that's actually something that Brad Garlinghouse has been saying a lot lately in some of these interviews. Just the idea that he thinks that when bad things happen to other projects and they fail, he says that's bad for Ripple, because it's not forward progress, right? That's another reason that Ripple has their Spring initiative, and they invest not just in XRP and Interledger products, but some of them are just kind of general crypto things that they think are going to help, and come back around and help Ripple in the end anyway. So anyway, that's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!